Hello, back again. So, before I went to sleep yesterday, I tried to make a video, another one of these, and it was so fucking bad. It was just complete shit. So, I don't know. Hope this one is better. It was a good game, I guess. It's a classic. It's just, I don't know. Something's on my mind, but I don't know what it is. Probably the usual kind of shit. Time. Impermanence. It seems like just the more I think about it, the less life makes sense, you know? Doesn't make any sense. I was thinking of maybe doing something where these episodes are like kind of separated by theme or something like that, you know? I don't know. I really liked that Street Fighter episode that I made. It was funny as hell. I was talking about like my little weird beliefs about like, oh, people, you know, like how I don't care about physical danger. Which is kind of funny because like I'm so afraid about everything else in life. It's just like, I don't know, there's the strength or something that you get from being down and out or walking in the shadows, I guess. It's like, what kind of things happen? It's like, say you're good at school, right? Say you're in high school and it's like you know you're smart and you're talented and you work hard and stuff, and then you get good marks. What kind of thing does that lead to? It leads to sort of opportunities that are kind of straightforwardly good, I guess. Not just like going to university or some shit, but even just like, oh, now you're in the AP advanced placement thing, and now I've even heard stories like the kids who did well in school, like they kind of get a lot of free stuff too. You get like scholarships, obviously, or like free this and trips and things like that. Whereas like I was retarded in school, so I got kicked out and then sent to like a really kind of ghetto school, and it was cool, but it's like obviously they don't give a shit about the ghetto kids. We didn't even have like a proper like science like lab or whatever, because no one's going to become a fucking scientist there. Who gives a shit? So why would we give them facilities? Yeah, we didn't even have like a gym really, or a prom or anything like that. It's like, it doesn't matter, like it's whatever, just fuck them. But yet you meet people like when bad things happen to you, or you fail in life or whatever it is, you kind of get to meet like people. You gotta meet like criminals, and you gotta meet like people who've suffered a lot of stuff, I guess. I don't know. Forget what this had to do with anything. I was making a point about something. I don't know. This doesn't make any sense. Get nightmares every night. Sometimes it's about the weirdest shit. Last night I don't know why I was getting nightmares about like high school again, like early high school. 10 fucking years ago, and I'm like still like sometimes upset about it. Just upset about like how I felt at that age, whatever. Why? Why does it matter? Seems like the more that I learn about life, the more it just seems so fucked up. The problem seems so insoluble. Yeah, that's why I like these kind of games, I guess, because it's just sort of simple and I don't know. Things don't make sense. Like I sometimes wonder, like, what's the point in things, with depression and stuff. But I don't know. It's like a simple game or something that's kind of nice. It's just, I don't know. Got some nice tea here. Stopped drinking tea for a while for some reason. I don't know, because it was starting to make me feel sick for some reason. I don't know. A lot of stuff just makes me sick these days. I don't know, I just feel sick about it. I guess nobody wants to talk about real stuff. It's funny because, like, when I'm, like, in a good mood, I don't really want to do it either. Like, I was actually talking to my dad yesterday, and it was really nice on the phone. And, I felt really good after, and, when I'm in a good mood, I like to just, like, humor and silly things, and I'm interested in, dumb stuff. Like, I was thinking about 6ix9ine, the rapper, Tekashi. For those who don't know, he's like he was this rapper. He's like almost exactly my age. He's like a month difference. He was this Mexican kid who like had like rainbow hair and shit, but he was also like in a gang. And his rap was fucking good, man. It was just fire as fuck. But then he snitched on his gang, and now everybody hates him. But yet he seems to still be pretty happy or whatever. It's like, it's funny. It's weird. Like some people are just kind of like insensitive or something like that. Watching an old interview with a writer I like, Robertson Davies. He was talking about World War I and like all the research and all the stuff he knows about it. And he said, like, for the most part, World War I was just fucking horrible. Like, it was like probably like the most, maybe like, I mean, all wars are horrible, but I think on the list of like difficulty, if you were to make like a difficulty rating or something, World War I was like just like the worst. It was just so fucking terrible for the soldiers. But that being said, there were actually some people who were like so tough or so hard, or the word he actually used, interestingly, was insensitive, that it wasn't, I mean, it was probably still hard, but they were like fine. Like, I don't know, they would watch their friends get blown up, and then they wouldn't get PTSD. They were just like, oh, that was terrible. And then, I don't know, it's weird. they fight. These wars happen, and then we sort of forget about them, don't we? I guess every soldier who serves has his or her journey that they go on. That's always going to be a difficult one. But maybe like in the end it means something. It's always so strange to me that stories are always about people's pain. Nobody wants to really read a story where nothing bad happens. But it's funny, the idea of a happy ending is a funny idea. Like, maybe a warrior goes through these problems. You can think of any life. Maybe a soldier goes through these things, has these problems, but in the end he comes home and he's reunited with his loved ones, and maybe that's the end of the story. Maybe there's nothing more to say. I don't know, but it doesn't make any sense to me. But stories don't really end. I mean, there's always going to be problems, I guess. But I've been sort of reading the Bible again, as much as I can with my energy, I guess. But I always thought it was funny how in the early Bible, like in Genesis, there's a lot of stories about various important people. Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel and Noah and stuff. Noah is an interesting one because I always kind of interpreted his story as like kind of a nice one. It's like it doesn't end horribly with him getting murdered by his brother or some shit. It's just like, he retired and planted a vineyard and got drunk and hung out and stuff. But it's funny how it's like, he had a whole life, but it's like there's only a certain part of it that was the story that was worth telling to be put into the scriptures. The thing that the Jews and Christians study so much, and Muslims and stuff. So it's like people have their time. They have like this kind of moment of truth or something. I don't know. Like most of my thoughts, a lot of this is fucking incoherent. Just random shit that's on my mind, I guess. I was writing, in a diary for a long time, but now I don't really see the point. Most of my diary is just stupid. It's usually like kind of aphoristic nonsense or just kind of me just complaining about life or how I don't understand. Like I just say the same thing over and over again about how I don't understand life and blah blah blah. It's sad, whatever. So what's the point? So I guess that's why I'm trying to make these videos, because they're it's better than nothing. I don't know, maybe the theme of this one's kind of sad, but I'm thinking maybe next episode I'll do something like more like the Street Fighter thing, where I just kind of talk about stuff. Like stories. Maybe I can just start doing it now, actually. Maybe just stop. I actually wrote some stuff down. About things I could talk about. I don't know. Here's something about one about basically girls. I don't really like to talk about that anymore, unfortunately, but another one was about something else. I don't know, who cares? Yeah, I used to like girls a lot. they were cool, but now I don't seem to care anymore, because what's the point? I don't like chasing things that are impossible to get. Maybe that sounds kind of messed up or something. Get, or chasing rainbows or whatever, chasing things that don't. That's just, you're not gonna get them. So what's the point? Why would you chase them? It's stupid. One thing that I always know is gonna be there are just fucking video games and weed and food, food and shit, but it's I don't know if I really people, friends, a lover, or whatever. All that stuff's just, I don't know. It's just, I can't even fucking take care of myself. So how am I supposed to take care of a woman? It's just a fantasy. It's stupid. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a way of talking about stuff that's not so kind of just depressing. I don't know. Sometimes I watch. I think after every episode I've made of this so far, I've just started, I felt like it was shit, and then when I watched it again, I was like, oh, it's pretty good. So I don't know. This one seems to be more depressing or something, but it's just whatever's on my mind. Fucking tea is not hot anymore. Damn. Time. Yeah, I was thinking of making a show where I would talk about kind of more formal topics like history or philosophy or something, things that I know a little bit about. But I don't know. I don't even really know if I care about that shit anymore. Philosophy is just kind of it's a cry for help. It's just, I don't know, it's a good thing. The coins. I always like dark levels, caves and stuff, like I said before. It's always interesting. Hell, once again, I think one of my favorite Mario games is also a Flash one. It was Mario Deluxe. I remember I got it on Mo Fun Zone. It was kind of a remake of this game, but it had a map and everything. It was really cool. Kind of like Mario 3 or whatever. Paradise. I guess paradise looks different to different people, which is probably another reason why it doesn't exist, because it's impossible for everybody to be happy with everything at the same time. That seems to be what liberal civilization is trying to accomplish. It's everybody has their own thing, which is cool, I guess. Yeah, it's all in my mind. All these, shouldn't. a little too much to society, I guess. Well, at least in this episode I have something to say, whereas in the last one, I don't know, it's just so fucking depressing. I was thinking of, there's some way in which I can do this better, I don't know. Paradise. Paradiso. I feel like I disappoint people, even my own friends, because of the whole I don't like to talk about things anymore stuff. It's funny because I think when I was a teenager, I actually had a lot more things to say, but I was very shy. But now it's like I don't think I'm as shy, but I have nothing to say anymore. That's another reason why I'm so sort of hesitant on making friends or something, because I always just feel like I'm just going to disappoint them. I don't know. My true nature is weird. I'm kind of like a cat or something. It's like I just want to be alone most of the time, but then obviously when you're alone, you're lonely, I guess. That's one thing what I really like about the internet is the way that you can kind of just, talk a little bit and then kind of just, you don't have to commit to stuff. I don't know, you can just kind of write a little thing and then I'm sure there could be some topic I could talk about that would be like both honest, like I'm not just frivolously talking about something I don't want to fucking talk about, but also not completely depressing. But I don't know. I think this is a good episode so far, actually. Even if it's kind of all over the place. Maybe like talking about memories with the game that I'm playing or watching or whatever is a good idea. This game is weird because it's so kind of classic that I don't really remember like the first time playing it. You know what I mean? It's like the original Mario. It's so kind of, it's used in like universities to study like AI and stuff. So it's like it's such a fundamental. It's weird how it's like even people who don't like games kind of acknowledge this as like part of the history of humanity, of like modern culture. It really is brilliant. I mean, Jesus, like this kind of stuff's just weird. And like somebody thought of this by themselves, like it's never been done before. Where you play as like Guy, you like make him move and jump on stuff and stuff. That's cool. Yeah, there's no AI on the enemies, which is funny. Like they just walk in a kind of a determined location or something. Wonder if it's all worth it. All of this. All this like pain and disappointment and people searching for things and not finding them. People loving something or someone and then losing it for no reason. It's just, does any of this make sense? Is this any, Love is cool. Yeah. Time. Funny how even in a video game there's time. Something that needs to be done before something. There's a quote by Heraclitus. Time is a game played beautifully by children. Like all of the aphorisms of Heraclitus, I guess. Nobody fucking knows what it means because we don't have enough information, right? We could have asked him back then, maybe, even though he was kind of an asshole and probably wouldn't have answered. But the way I interpret it, if anyone cares, is like, I sort of think like children are not, it's not that children aren't aware of time, they're not stupid, but they just kind of deal with it better than we do as adults. Like they just kind of, they understand like things are limited, but that doesn't really matter. It's like, I don't know, little kids are crazy. Sometimes I'm afraid that they might be losing their wisdom because of all this cell phone nonsense and whatever, but or just like overprotective fucking parents. But I don't know, I think you still see the strange wisdom they have, where they can just like play in the sunshine and what are they even doing, Like they're just kind of running around and you see something good in it. I don't know. People are really kind, sometimes. A lot of people, probably, honestly, like, some people are just terrible. Some people should be shot, but we don't need to talk about that. But, like, some people are, like, really cool, and I just sort of think they deserve really good stuff. But yet, sometimes I don't know if it makes a difference, because someone might say something nice to you, but it's always like at this point, it's always just, I just kind of look at people's intentions, I think, which is like, if someone says something, it's just the intention that matters, it's not really what they say. Because I don't know, like, someone might say something, and there's always the question that comes to my mind is always like, well, is it? Someone might say, let's say, like, life is good in the end, and like, is it really, or is it worth it? Or someone might say, like, that I'm a good person. I've been told that many times by people that I seem to be very compassionate, and it's like, am I? Are you sure about that? I think about a lot of this shit, but I don't know, I don't know if that really makes me like a good person. Only I know the things I've done, the things I haven't done, which might even be bigger. Or even just the way I sort of relate to stuff. So I'm not really that good of a person, I don't think. I'm pretty selfish. But then again, it's weird how, like, the mind is just impossible. It's just like this impossibly complicated thing. Fucking modern psychologists think they understand it. They're fucking idiots. Hell, I actually had one therapist who was actually a pretty smart guy who said, like, most psychologists actually are very out of touch with the scientific community. And you know, it's not science. Psychology is not science. Physics is science. Chemistry is science. Psychology, not science. Sorry. I mean, how could it possibly be a science? Especially when a lot of it is just kind of common sense shit. Seems like so many of these like institutions we create is just trying to undo the damage done by modernity or capitalism or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's really so radical to sit in a room with a stranger and talk about your feelings. Like, that's what it takes now. We used to have religion. We used to have, like, you know, communities. And now we have, like, shit. You know? I'd rather listen to, like, religious fundamentalists at this point, because at least they believe in something. I don't give a fuck what people think. You know, one of my favorite YouTubers who passed away recently was a devout Christian, and he was like an open, politically like incorrect fundamentalist Christian who was like a creationist and was a homophobe. I mean, he wasn't like going out there harassing gay people, but yeah, he was against homosexuality. He was sexist. He believed in that women should be in the kitchen and or you know, like the traditional role. But I don't hate, you know, I don't agree with that shit, but it's like, I don't know, he has other things to say that are really interesting. So I remember he made a video about divorce that was, you know, once again very opinionated. He said divorce is wrong, and you should never do it, but you can, like the Bible allows it, but it's not a good thing. But even in that video, he talks about kind of like, you know, he's just sitting there with, you know, in his room, he's got like his books in the background, Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, and his various versions of the Bible, and he's a super fucking religious dude. And like, you know, you talk about like the way in which, you know, love can come back again. It really can. Like a flower can wither, but it can come back again. So even if you're 50 years old and you know, whatever, you're divorced, it's like you can go back to someone you love, and you can like, it's like you can remember when you were young, when you know, when it was romantic, you know, you can fucking do that. Why the hell not? But in our culture, there's like no place to have these conversations, you know, especially with political correctness, which I think is a huge problem. Even though, you know, I mean, the term political correctness actually is, you know, it's another. I you know, I had a friend who, I actually realized he wasn't being an asshole. He was just, he was actually reasonably kind of asking, because I used the term political correctness, and then he said, "Are you right wing? Are you and your friends are right wing or something?" And I was like, "No," but I understand what he means. Like, the term is stupid once again because it's a political term. So political terms tend to be kind of dumb, especially ones that are not formally defined. Like, there's no formal definition of political correctness, because it's actually a Marxist term, or it has its origins in, I think, Stalinism, but whatever. Once again, I guess this is what's good about what Lord Russell would call the philosophy of logical analysis, which is trying to be very accurate with your language. So yeah, terms like PC, you know, it's not very accurate. And I think when people, like a lot of like the Trump supporters and stuff, when they talk about political correctness, I think like regular people, I think they have a meaning for it, but it's not. It's like everyone's meaning is different. So for me, what I mean by that is just like taboo culture, that's usually left-wing in nature. So it's just like, it's always taboo to say, well, maybe minorities are not, are just don't know what the fuck they're doing, which is something I believe in myself, because I am a minority, so I don't care. I can say, like, a lot of minorities, they just live in a different world, and if they fail, a lot of times it's just sort of their fault. It's our own fault. We don't know what the fuck we're doing, you know? It's not fault, it's just like, I don't know, I just don't like taboo culture, because it's another reason why it's kind of hard for me to talk even to old friends, because it's just like, there's a limited range of what I'm allowed to say and what I'm allowed to whatever. I don't know. Is it really a big deal? Am I making a big deal about it? I mean, I used to find it kind of fun. It's like, oh, I can enter a room and I can tell that the people in this room just cannot wrap their mind around a certain idea. They're just not going to listen to it because it's just too upsetting or something. And I used to be like, oh, well, not that I'm going to troll them, but I could just kind of find that interesting. I could be like, oh, well, I guess I'm seeing above that. But I don't know, none of it seems to make a difference. Divorce. I mean, it's hard to be optimistic about life when you're depressed, but when there are actually a lot of things that are pretty crazy. I mean, we're living in an apocalypse of divorce. 50% of marriages fail. That's pretty crazy, man. I wonder why. Sometimes I wonder if it's just people are just frivolous, like they don't sort of understand what marriage really is. I don't know if people even have sort of culture, you know, I mean, like, weddings in the Western world, even if you're an atheist, are Christian, obviously. They're culturally Christian. I find it funny when people sort of think that they're atheists when really they're actually Christians. They're just kind of atheist. Everyone's a Christian in the West. I don't give a shit who you are. It's hilarious sometimes when it's like someone will think that they're like an atheist that's divorced from Christianity, but then you hear them talk about morality and they have this kind of like fire and brimstone fucking morality, and it's like, oh, okay, now it's Mario 2, okay, from Japan. It's a Mario mood, I guess. It's so obvious to me that people are Christian. I mean, I can't really prove it, but it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You're telling me over 1,000 years of Christianity, and we're just gonna be divorced from those habits? I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably write, and I could probably find some interesting scholarly work about Christian institutions in our culture, hospitals and fucking the university. I mean, you can't diss the schoolmen, Thomas Aquinas and these people. You don't have to fucking agree with them, but they created the world we're in. Go listen to Peter Adamson talk about this shit, one of my favorite historians of philosophy. He says it's a delusion, I think, to think that it's like religion is gone or something. I don't know. It's like even the Enlightenment comes off as a kind of very Christian kind of movement, and there were Christians in it too. Anyways, like Immanuel Kant. Anyways, what the fuck am I even saying with all this? Oh, the black mushroom, it's bad. Friend is texting me. I forget what I was saying before this. So why did I bring up the Christianity thing? Something about oh yeah, weddings. So yeah, weddings are Christian. I mean, I don't know if people still say like "till death do us part" and all that, but do people like take it seriously when the guy says that? It's like, this is serious, man. In sickness and in health. That's why I won't get married, because I don't think I'll ever feel that way about a woman. Or I probably would, but I just, like I said, I can't provide for her as a man. So, therefore, can't do what a man is supposed to do. Husband, or father, let alone a fucking father and all that. So I'd rather just be sort of a hermit or a shadow or something. Try to do good in the world from the shadows. So strange. There always seems to be kind of my friends just called me up. Man. Yeah, I hope to not offend people with words, but yeah, I don't know. I find people annoying. If you want to, once again, the only other YouTuber I fucking respect, Forever Retro 82. If you want to hear like criticisms of political correctness, you should watch his videos. His old videos on Demonia Sex channel. And then, there's other people, sort of, more intellectual people that I would recommend or whatever, but like, what's his name? Roger Scruton or something, even though he's a fucking asshole because he hunts animals, which is not good, but yeah, I never fit in with shit. Sometimes I like kind of right-wing kind of people because they don't seem to get offended as much. It's like, and in the ways in which I'm supposed to respect them, like if they're religious, as people on the right tend to be, I mean, I respect all that stuff, and they would respect me not believing in Christianity and stuff. People are cool, but it's like, yeah, I don't know, I hate the right too, they suck, they're often really racist and stupid and crazy. But it's like, even when people are nice, I just fucking don't want to listen to them. It's sad, because it's like, I don't know. Do I find my people by sort of delving into philosophy, or I guess serious history or whatever? It's like, I don't know. It helps for a time, but I think it's good to be able to articulate yourself and think about things clearly, especially when one thing that's cool is that a lot of your ideas have already been thought of before, so it's cool to, listen to people who are smarter than you talk about stuff. Especially like geniuses, like real like geniuses out there. Like the historian Eric Hobsbawm was like a genius historian, and he was like, but once again, like most intellectuals, he was just a depressing fuck, like everybody else. There's another philosophy named Isaiah Berlin, who seemed to be like kind of happier and kind of more of a cool guy, I think that's who I wanted to be like when I was like, wanted to be like an intellectual. I was like, I wanted to be like him, because he's not a genius. I'm not saying I ever aspired to be like Plato or anything like that, because that's unrealistic. But I just thought, like, someone like Isaiah Berlin is like a very respectable philosopher, and guy who just sort of, had his opinions and was like kind of, had, he had a personality and he was cool with showing it, but it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just, it's just one part of me that's useful. It's like it's good to I don't know if it has anything to do with what I'm saying, but sometimes when I'm talking, I try to pay attention to how I feel when I'm talking. And if there's certain topics that don't seem like they're going anywhere or just stupid, I just kind of stop talking about it. I just sort of think maybe it's better talking. As depressing as it is, for some reason, and I want to talk about the marriage thing. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm just trying to make a general point about how, like when somebody says, I'm getting married, honest to God, I really wish I could say congratulations, which obviously I will, but I'm lying, of course. I don't really believe that, because I have no idea. It's like saying, like, I'm going to war. I'm not going to be like, awesome. I'm going to be like, okay, I hope everything goes well for you. And if you want my real opinion, I don't think most wars are really justified. There's World War II. There's the defense of Athens from the Persian Empire. There's, perhaps American Civil War or whatever, but like, I don't. Most wars are just states conquering other people and convincing poor people that this is a good idea because you're doing it for your country. It is a unbelievably noble thing to serve your country, and I'll always love the veterans of my country, and I'll always respect pretty much every veteran of every country, even though that makes no sense, obviously. Like, even though Iran is an enemy of the West, technically Iran or Russia or something, I still respect their veterans. Like, I still, to me, it's just people thinking they are doing the right thing. Oh, how about a controversial opinion? I respect the German army in World War II. They were not all Nazis. In fact, even the German army was actually like a pretty separable institution from the Nazi regime. On more than one occasion, they considered a civil war against Hitler. It didn't happen. And so you might be like, oh, well, they didn't do it. Well, they were seriously considering civil war in Germany against Hitler. That's how serious the army was. So you can't fucking diss the German army. I mean, yes, the Wehrmacht did some crimes and stuff. I'm not saying, like, the crimes aren't there, obviously, but it's like, I don't think your just average German soldier was like a fucking Nazi. A lot of it was just people didn't know what the fuck was going on. They didn't know if, like, Russia was going to invade them or something, so I respect soldiers, but I don't really believe what they believe in. Like, I don't actually believe, It's funny, there's a sutta in Theravada Buddhism that mentions there is, in Buddhism, there are these things called devas, which are like gods, kind of, and in my culture, devas are kind of ridiculed, I guess, but in sort of southern Buddhist civilization, like in Thailand, devas are viewed as like good things. They're not like Buddhas, they're not like the highest, most noble beings in the world, but they're, holy shit, wouldn't that be crazy if I wasn't recording this whole time? I just realized that'd be nuts. Anyways, it is recording. So it's like, being reborn as a deva is a good thing. They have really awesome lives, and they live long, and they're noble, and they're magical, and all this stuff. And someone asks the Buddha, he says, I've heard a rumor, there's a rumor that, like a cultural belief in these parts, that when warriors die, they're reborn as like warrior devas because of their courage and their sacrifice. And the Buddha says, no, that rumor is false. Warriors go to hell when they die. That is just so brutal, and it's so against like most cultures. This idea that, yeah, warriors die, like they go to hell. It doesn't even matter what they're fighting for. It's just killing and causing suffering. We'll just, through karmic laws, we'll send you to hell. It's, you know. So I mean, I don't believe that. I think that's not good. But it's like, you know, it's like, I don't know. So, what was I saying about marriage or something? Time? I don't know. But I guess it is true for some people. I want everybody to be happy. Like, I hope everybody's happy in the end. But I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's like this religious tendency. I mean, not all religions are the same, but I think probably all religions do have an aspect of asceticism or renunciation that increasingly is becoming weird. Like, people think of it as weird. But it's like, I don't know, trying to be happy with less or something, or not. Or trying to be happy with life despite the fact that it's fucking cursed as hell. People like laugh and go, "Oh, so depressing," but it's like, I don't even laugh at it anymore. It's like, it's just, I don't feel very comedic these days, which is funny because when I watched that Street Fighter episode, I thought it was funny. But it's like you can mock religion. I mean, I don't. Once again, if you're a real atheist, I respect that totally. Like, you know, if you seriously, like, because I mean, so am I. I mean, I've rejected my religion too. I'm not a Buddhist anymore. But the thing I find fucking annoying is just how frivolous it is. Like, it seems like most people, they don't have serious beliefs about religion. Like, you know, that's why, like, you know, an angry atheist to me is fine, but like, for me, it's like, it's just, there's so much sort of frivolous mocking and disrespect of, like, religion, usually Christianity over here, that I think is just stupid. I mean, you know, you can have fun. I don't want to say everything has to be serious all the time, but like, in the end, it's like, you can't tell me that, like, when it comes down to, you know, struggling with the knife, struggling with the gun to your head, that you can't respect people's feelings. I mean, it's like, are you really gonna do that? You know, I don't expect fucking people from our part of the world to really understand it, what it's really like to have nothing, truly nothing. I mean, I sometimes feel like I have nothing. Obviously, I don't. I have a lot of stuff. In the end, I'm actually wealthy on a global standard. I have, you know, illnesses. That's been terrible and unfortunate, but I mean, I'm literally talking about, like, people who spend all day walking to get water and then come home and then They have to fucking wash their clothes in it before they drink it and all this horrible shit. And in the end, they read the Quran or the Bible or something. So I don't know. I don't know how you. I don't know. Just take it more seriously or something. We were Christians. All of us. White people, Western culture. That's all Western culture means. It's just white people. I mean, it's a bit debatable whether, classical culture is really Western when you really think about it. And also, obviously, Islamic civilization is arguably also very Western too, but whatever. If you're from Britain or France or Germany and all of its offshoots, here I am in British North America. We were Christians, and it's a bit strange that people sort of forget that. I don't know if I want to keep making this about Christianity, because I sort of feel like I'm being an asshole or something, just lecturing people. I don't want to do that. Like, are there some good things that I can say are truly good, truly safe, I guess? I don't know. I'm not saying that we should fear love. There's no other choice. But I also have to be realistic and understand that it's not for everybody, I guess.